This is what I believe will take place, guys, in terms of XRP and the major world events throughout, or should we say, till 2025, around this time frame, right? So we have a couple of years to go still, but in between those years, there's going to be major events that will take place, guys. Let's talk about it. Now, I was going to create this video all the way in September, October-ish, but different things came about, right? And I pondered more on what truly will take place. Again, remember, FTX situation, Black Swan did take place, right? And I didn't know that was going to happen. So be careful, beware of what Black Swans. Now, I believe so. Now, first things first, I tweeted this thread all the way back in June 17th, 2022. This is what I believe will take place, the sequence of events till 2025, not financial advice. This is my cheat sheet, guys. Basically, you guys seen what I wrote down here, right? So let's talk about it more in depth a little bit. And obviously, I have an update to this timeline, so that's why I'm making the video in the first place, right? So, number one, we have what? Tomorrow, December 13th, which is the CPI data release. It's important because the Federal Reserve will be checking on it to see if they're going to become more hawkish or dovish, guys, right? In terms of the interest rates hike and whatnot. So that's December 13th, tomorrow, or after tomorrow, I should say. Now, after that is what, guys? The Federal Reserve, right? The FOMC meeting at this point in time. So this is going to be very interesting on what happens. This is for the Consumer Price Index. Once again, for November 2022, the data release will be tomorrow, right? You guys can see the time right there. Now, for December 14th is this right here, the FOMC meeting, guys. Right? So this is going to be very important. Again, we did hear from Jerome Powell his statement right here, guys. So this is why people are now betting or expecting a 50 basis point hike, right? Instead of a 75. Why? Because, guys, their hands are tied behind their back, right? They need to pivot here soon, slow down these interest rate hikes, right? And then possibly stop it, pause, and then after that point, cut rates. That's probably a year or so from now, guys, right? At that point in time. So here we have Federal Chair Powell speak, guys. This was all the way back at 11/30/22. Let's check this out.
So we have a risk management balance to strike, and we think that slowing down at this point is a good way to balance the risks of
slowing down on the pace of rate
hikes.
On the pace of rate hikes, slow it down, right? Exactly, guys. Why? Because they're getting pressured at this point in time. What's going to happen? Will they collapse the economy if they keep raising the interest rates?
Soft or softish landing. I do believe that.
And the definition of a softish landing is what?
Soft.
Unemployment goes up a little, but we don't have a recession?
Yeah, unemployment goes up, but it's not a hard landing. It's not a severe recession. You know, you could think of unemployment going up, but not really spiking as it does in some recessions. So that's how I think about it. And I think the path is pretty clear. It's the labor market conditions soften.
Interesting. A lot of people have been talking about a Q1 2023 recession, guys, right? I don't know if that's going to take place. I'll explain further in just a little bit. Now, I have more key timestamps here.
I think we've been pretty aggressive, I would say. No, I don't. I don't agree. I mean, we wouldn't, to just raise rates and try to crash the economy and then clean up afterward. I wouldn't take that approach at all. I think we're in a position where the right thing to do is to move really quickly as we have, and now slow down and get to that place where we think we need to be. And by the way, there's high uncertainty around that. We have a broad set of thoughts about where that destination might be, but we could be wrong. It can be higher than that, could even be lower than that. We'll have to see. But I think that's the right approach, and that's also the approach that it would allow us not to throw away the option value of upending a lot of lives, which we would do if we crash the economy and raise it. We might get rid of inflation, but at very high human cost.
Even though that was a couple of weeks ago, they seem a little bit dovish, right? Or he seems so. Why? Because like we stated before, guys, that as he just did state, they could collapse the economy if they wanted to, right? They could bring down inflation if they wanted to, but they're not going to, guys. I believe inflation will be here, right? Remember when they said inflation is just only transitory. Come on, guys. It's going to be here till the collapse, I believe so. So Why? To make people suffer a little bit more, right? To drag this along until the collapse, or when the collapse does take place, people can cry and beg out for a solution. Now, these are the core important meetings, right? I should write it down here, possibly FOMC. So next up we have, by the way guys, I have my notepad open on my left screen. Next up we have Flare FLR goes live at this date, guys, January 9th, right? Basically, this is important because we see another major asset go live, and it's all interconnected, guys. I believe so. The XRP ecosystem, right? So, but at the same time, people believe Q1 2023 there's going to be a severe recession and whatnot, but I don't believe so. Why? Right? Why could that be the case, guys? Why could that be the case, right? It's because of this right here. Basically, from Val Dresser, the biggest events happen when you least expect them. Now, I replied exactly. The financial system will collapse when there is an inexplicable amount of euphoria. If the past proves the future, they will make the monster bubble bigger, much bigger, before it all breaks overnight. This is how, in my opinion, we pump and never stop, right? Exactly. So, what do I mean by the we pump and never stop? When I keep saying that, guys, right? This is what I mean. I basically mean this right here, guys. If I could find it, we basically pump and literally never stop, right? Now, I don't know what's going to happen in the short term, right? I do not know what's going to happen in the short term. We could obviously dump and then pump back up again, right? Or a lot of people are expecting we pump here and dump in Q1 2023. But I don't know if that's going to take place, guys. As I stated before, in the short term, if a lot of people are expecting the same thing, usually it doesn't take place, right? That's what I've always noticed. Usually the opposite happens. But miraculously, if we do dump, perhaps it's going to be following this pattern right here for Bitcoin, right? Maybe we dump and then we go back up again, right? And finally, we break this pattern and we pump and literally never stop till when, guys? Till 2024, 2025, right? And that's when the collapse takes place, I believe. By the way, there's many other events, major events, but there's really too much to talk about, so we can't go in depth on each one, right? If we go back here, though, look at this, guys. This is why I don't believe the collapse is now, right? We're going to be confirmed in about a week or so because that's the end of autumn, right? So we'll be confirmed of when the collapse truly takes place. Now, this was back in 1927, right before the Great Depression. Quote, we will not have any more crashes in our time, end quote. All these economists and whatnot stated these things, guys, right? All these things. There may be a recession in stock prices, but not anything in the nature of a crash. Guess what took place? Literally right before the Great Depression, a collapse, right? This is what needs to happen in the economy, in the system today, guys. And then the collapse will take place, right? So we're not at that point in time. Why? Because everyone's now talking about how there's a collapse inbound, right? So the way to trick everyone is to pump everything high up again, right? To pump everything and then obviously collapse it. But I believe XRP, the reason why pump and never stop is XRP is a hedge towards what the collapse that's inbound as well, right? So there's really a lot to talk about, guys. We could keep talking about this days on days on days, but we have to keep moving here. Now, next up we have Ripple case concludes, ISO goes live, right? When could this be? There are rumors, what, December 15th possibly, right? I'm not sure about that, guys. But let's just say it ties in with what? It ties in with Swift. Go live on ISO 20022 or 20022 for cross-border payments and reporting. It's coming up in March 2023 and we want to help you get ready. March 2023, right? So let's just say when spring, about March 21st. And let's just say, guys, and then as well as ISO goes live. Could it be a coincidence that possibly the case concludes Q1 or maybe maximum Q2 of 2023, and then Swift officially does go live, right? Throughout till when? 2025, if I'm not mistaken. Again, look at that, guys. Free webinars as well, December 15th, right? Wow, quite interesting, isn't it? Now, so we have all this out of the way. What do we have next? Now, I did talk about how September, the only way I see a collapse in September is how, guys, by a black swan event. And that is this right here. September 23rd, 2023. So if we go here, this is the what? The false Carrington event, guys. That's that right there, right? September 23rd, 2023. This is the only way I really see a what? A black swan, or the collapse of the entire financial system goes down, right? This is the only way I could see it happen in 2023. But I believe it will take place 2024, 2025, guys. I'm not sure if this will happen. But some may ask, what is a Carrington event? What happened during the Carrington event of 1859? A mega solar flare erupted and caused a huge geomagnetic storm on Earth. If we go up here, what would a Carrington event do today? If it happened today, it could cause an internet apocalypse, sending large numbers of people and businesses offline, right? So that's what this is about, guys. That's the only way I see it happen in 2023. But maybe it doesn't happen then, and it all ties in together, right? Or maybe they're saving this for another purpose. Now, from XX, September 22 to 23rd, Hollywood, 33 times at least. Look at this, guys, right? These are from different shows, if I'm not mistaken. All on this day, all on September 23rd. What? An asteroid strikes that day, right? Asteroid, right? So they're going to probably blame it on different things, guys. But remember, it's going to be man-made, right? But they're going to blame it on this thing and that thing. As you guys can see, how many things took place on that day, guys, right? On all these different movies. Look at that. Earth is destroyed by a solar flare. Come on, guys. We're not making any of this stuff up, right? There's more and more and more. You guys can probably pause and check all of this stuff out, right? You know what's fascinating? Look at this. Do they know 923? No. Wow. Last man standing. What? And then there's more right here, guys. By the way, I'll leave all the links down so you guys can investigate further, right? Now, again, September 24th, one global fan event. If you go down here, this is why would the German opposition leader reference September 24th, 2022 as a day that will be remembered, right? But remember, it could be about the Cry Wolf story. Again, there's a lot of references to what? Look at that, Great Solar Flash, right? Fascinating stuff. September 24th from The Simpsons. Literally, guys, they say it right here. Look at that. S24, Season 24, Episode 9. Right? September 24th, perhaps. Look at that. Shockwave. Everything goes down like an EMP. Right? Offline. You can't make any of this stuff up, guys. Literally. Now, from RKX, guys, I've been watching him for a while now, and he posted this a while back ago, right? Deciphering Hollywood subliminal embeds. Again, on the coming new Carrington event. Listen to this, guys.
What it's referring to isn't going to happen. Something might happen, and I'm going to explain that too. But the real event is 2023. The false Carrington event, the takedown of the internet, I have already predicted. Now, we're going to get into details because it's going to be covered up as something else. They're not going to say they did it. So, anyway.
Exactly. They're not going to say that they did it, right? So blame it on something else, like what possibly. Who knows? Who knows, guys? They always do. They always have what? Scapegoats. Now I have a few more timestamps. By the way, you guys should probably check all these things out, right? And obviously investigate further because we're really skipping through a lot here.
Very first broadcast. So if these are the beginning of timelines, all starting in September 23rd with a couple of them in September 22nd, and these are actual timelines, because remember, I've told you guys in prior presentations, to be an actual reality tunnel, to be a timeline, there must be a pattern break. So if this is the beginning of a pattern, the break being there was no broadcasting, then all of a sudden there was broadcasting, that begins a timeline. That timeline, if it's going to end in September 23rd, like all this evidence infers, then the timeline is showing me that broadcasting itself, television, is over with in September 23rd. Now, is it temporarily over with and it becomes something else? That remains to be seen. I believe technology will continue. I just believe that there's going to be a fundamental change in our infrastructure, and it's planned. This is not an asteroid. This is not the result of nuclear war, no matter how it's covered up and masked. This is 100% by design in September 23rd, not because what the doomsayers are saying, the apocalypse, the tribulation, all this evil stuff, but because in order to make the world fall asleep, they're going to introduce a utopia, and they're going to do it by burning the world you know. Now, I've gone through this many times in other videos. Happens this year.
Like what's, guys? A problem, reaction, solution, right? Exactly.
But the event for which all these intel drops in movies, in video games, and what I have now shown you and brought to the table, looking at actual historical events and showing the precise timing, yes, and how they all line up to September 23rd. And you have to take into consideration, especially my newer viewers, you have to understand 100% of the information I've revealed in this video is absolutely independent of my prior video on the Carrington event when the internet takedown. That video stands alone in its own presentation of data. It has its own date sequence predictive analytics attached.
So you guys should probably check and investigate further, like I said it before, right? Now, there's one more timestamp here. That's around 108.
What is going to occur isn't what's important. It's the effect. The effect is a total infrastructure internet takedown. Are they going to bring it back up? I'm certain they will. Will it be different? Will there be some changes? Absolutely. Will everything that's lost from the internet be blamed on the event? Absolutely. Absolutely. It doesn't matter if it's a staged X flare, if it's a staged EMP nuclear exchange. It doesn't matter if they blame it on earthquakes caused by asteroid fallout. It doesn't matter if they claim that an alien transmission that's more sophisticated than anything we've ever come into contact with just blasted us from somewhere way out in space and collapsed our internet. It doesn't matter the means, because it's all BS. The only thing that matters is the effect. It's the takedown of the internet. So,
problem, reaction, solution. So that's the only reason. This is the only way I could see a collapse take place. And again, it's around the autumn time frame, right? Remember, autumn is when the reset takes place. And it's so crazy because this is when October or September 23rd, right? So this is the only way I can see a collapse happen in 2023. If this event doesn't happen, the collapse won't happen, guys, in my humble opinion. And we have the timeline here, right? Pay attention, guys. And then, last but not least, there's probably a lot more major events that will take place, obviously, throughout the years. What is this about? When I believe the reset will take place, right? So, if we go here, all the way to, well, we can't even go, but basically, September 2024 to all the way here, 2025, right, around this time frame. This is when I believe the reset takes place, guys. So, if we have a text right here, reset, there we go. This is when I believe the reset takes place, right, around this time frame. And then these are the lead up. These are the events that will lead up to that quote unquote reset, right? One more thing, guys. Again, possible reset takes place in around September 2023, right? But I don't know. That's a 50-50 at this point in time, right? So I'm not putting all my eggs in one basket. Instead, I believe it's here, right? Maybe it could honestly be then, but that's the only way I see it happening, by what a black swan event, right? Now, you know what's fascinating about this right here? Is that, listen to this right here. Guess what else is happening around that time frame as well, right? From Bobby A. Bitcoin's next peak will come pre-halving, in my opinion, catching 95% off guard. 2023 leading into 2024 will be incredible for Bitcoin and crypto. Bitcoin has been in a secular bull since its inception. After this next peak, which may come pre-halving, I believe it will enter a secular bear. Wow, right? Imagine for a moment Bitcoin pumping like crazy pre-halving and everyone just uber excited about what's to come after the halving, only to peak before it and crush 95%. That's coming, in my opinion. Now this lines up with what Woosten is thinking as well. I was watching his video, right? the Bitcoin models, right? As we see right here, the stock to flow model, all these different models, guys, show Bitcoin going up and up and up, right? Pump and never stop, basically. But do they really talk about what happens if Bitcoin collapses on itself? No. And this is why they're going to catch all these people off guard, guys. Bitcoin collapses, right? And then they save Bitcoin by what? Changing the code at that point in time, right? From proof of stake to something, from proof of work to something else, guys, right? Wow, this is crazy. As you guys can see, all these models basically show up and up and up, right? So to catch all these people off guard is to what? To collapse it on itself, right? Look at that. Everything literally points towards 1 million plus, guys. Everything, literally all these charts show Bitcoin will go up, guys. Look at that, right? You can't make any of this stuff up. You just can't. You just can't, guys. This is why I believe Bitcoin collapses on itself, and this ties in right around the reset as well, right? With all the other things that will collapse on itself. XRP will not. Why? Because it's a hedge, right? Gold, silver, hedge towards the incoming collapse. So I'll prepare, guys. This is really the timeline right here, right? I mean, there's definitely more events, major events that will happen in between, guys, but all we really need to look out for is what? The collapse, the reset, right? And when this will take place. The big one, the monster, the scary of them all, right? The scariest of them all. So this is my beliefs, guys. Now I wanted to add this in here as well, very quickly, guys. So if we do pump and never stop, for example, right? So let's say we go up and up and up and up and up, and then right around the reset, everything just collapses on itself, right? But remember, there's going to be fear contagion issues. So there's going to be people in the community that will start selling and selling, right? And then when a new financial system is up and running, guess what takes place? Literally that right there, guys, right? That's what I believe, at least. So we basically pump and then dump a little bit because of the quote-unquote collapse, right? A lot of people have fear now, people are selling, and then we just pump out. This is how we pump and never stop. That's what I mean. Obviously, in between, there's going to be pit stops, right? To get to refuel the rocket ship, and we keep pumping and pumping and pumping. Now, obviously not financial advice. Maybe we're going to be talking about, if I find anything more, I'll make another video on this topic, guys. But let's see what truly takes place, right? Let's see what truly takes place. Not financial advice. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you guys did, please like the video. I'll see you guys in the next one. See ya.